So it's been just over a month since WWDC, and I've been running the iOS 15 beta since the first version that was released that day. And in this video, I'm going to go over my top 5 favorite features of the software update so far. Alright, so first up is FaceTime, and there were a lot of changes made to this in iOS 15, so I'm going to group them all together, or the title of this video will be 5 new features of FaceTime. Personally, I'm most excited for SharePlay, and this is a feature I've been waiting for and wanting for a while now. This includes like watching movies and sharing music over FaceTime, but I am really looking forward to being able to just share my screen in general instead of having to be on a FaceTime call and take a screenshot and send that in like a message. Also, FaceTime calls now have links, and you can schedule this in like your calendar, or you can start a call and just share the link. And the cool thing about these new links is you can now use them to join a FaceTime call using an Android or a Windows computer. And there are a few other changes, like the option to use grid view for FaceTime calls when you have multiple people on it, or having your background noise cut out using the voice isolation. And I haven't tested either of these, but I think they'll be super helpful in the right scenario. Alright, so moving on to messages, I really like how they've updated the way that you interact with multiple photos in a conversation. It just makes it so much more efficient. So now when someone sends you more than one photo in a message, they appear as like a stack that you can easily swipe through to look at them. You can reply to each individual one or tap back, or you can save them all at once using the new download button, which makes it so much more convenient and just quicker than saving them all individually while swiping through them. Now, if they would just let me turn off the feature that automatically saves a picture to my camera roll when I take it in the Messages app. All right, so the first two things I mentioned are pretty basic. They're like mentioned in the keynote. They're things you'll use every day. But up next, I think, is a feature that you won't use every day, but when you do need it, it'll be super helpful to have it. So now when your phone turns off or dies, it never actually fully turns off. It reserves a little bit of power, so it can go into this really low power mode. You'll still be able to track it using the Find My app, like you would in AirTag. Also, something I found really interesting was now if your phone gets stolen and they erase it or do a factory reset, you can still track it even at that point. Alright, so next up on my list, we have live text. Now this is pretty much the same thing as Google Lens, but it's integrated into the stock camera app now, so I think it'll just help more people find the feature and use it. So when you take a photo of something, live text does pretty much what it says in the name, and it'll use AI to identify words and numbers inside of the photos, which you can then click on to copy and paste out into other apps. What I found really interesting was that this also works on screenshots. So you can now take a screenshot of something like Twitter if it has a link or something you want to copy and paste out of it, and you can just use live text to get that information out for you. And I think this will be super useful for those business cards you get for appointments or just meeting notes that you're taking on a piece of paper. You can easily just take a picture and then copy it out into another app that you actually want to store the information in. And last but not least, we have the Notes app. Now this was given a few updates in iOS 15 to just make organization and collaboration easier. Now starting with the organization, so you now have an option to add tags to all of your notes, and all of the ones that you have used will show up under the tag browser, which just makes it super easy to organize and filter your notes based off specific tags that you want to look for. And personally, I use the Notes app for everything from home and work to scripting these videos, so I think the tags are going to make it easier for me to just find the specific things that I'm looking for when I need them. And on the more collaboration side of the updates, you have the option to mention people in the notes that you're collaborating on together. I can see this being useful in 2 different scenarios. The first is you have a list of tasks and you mention people to assign them, or you can mention somebody next to a change that you've made so they can get directly notified and they know exactly where that change is made. Alright, so those are my 5 favorite features in the iOS 15 beta so far, and I'll be making a similar video about iPadOS 15, so be sure to subscribe down below so you're notified of that, and future videos about tech, cameras, and making. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button down below. It does help out a lot. And thank you for watching. Here's my review of the iPhone 12 Pro Max, and here's a video that YouTube thinks you're gonna like the best.